Okay, let's jump right into this explainer by tackling a massive, fundamental mystery. When exactly did our ancestors on the Indian subcontinent stop just wandering around hunting wild game and actually start planting seeds in the dirt? Seriously, it's one of the most profound shifts in all of human history. It literally transformed us from nomads completely at the mercy of nature into settlers who could finally control their own environment.
So, welcome to our deep dive into the ancient roots of human civilization. Today, we're tracing an incredible, thousands of years long journey. We're starting with the most rudimentary, banged-up stone tools and going all the way to the brilliant dawn of metallurgy. And we're keeping it strictly to the hard evidence, right? The archaeological sites, the fossils, the actual artifacts that prove how humans in this region evolved from just trying to survive day-to-day in caves to building actual complex communities.
Here is our quick roadmap for today. We'll start by defining the eras, then hit the Paleolithic first tools, move into Mesolithic animals and art, explore the Neolithic agricultural revolution, and finally, wrap up with the Chalcolithic Copper Age.
All right, Section 1. Defining the eras and making sense of deep time.
To kick things off, we really need to clear up the difference between these massive, sprawling chunks of time. When archaeologists talk about the prehistoric period, they mean an era with absolutely zero documented written evidence. None. It encompasses the entire Stone Age, meaning everything we know is literally pieced together from bones, stones, and dirt. Now contrast that with the proto-historic period. This is super interesting because we actually do have shreds of written scripts from this time, like from the Copper Age or the Indus Valley. We just haven't deciphered them yet. It's the difference between relying purely on physical artifacts versus having early, unreadable writing totally teasing us with clues.
So, if we map this out chronologically, tool technology becomes our ultimate marker of time. We go from the absolute earliest pebble tools, the hand axes and choppers of the lower Paleolithic, straight through the middle Paleolithic borer and scrapper era. Then we hit a massive leap with early Neolithic agriculture around 9,000 to 7,000 BC, all the way up to the settled farming communities of the proto-historic Chalcolithic age, around 3000 BC.
Moving right along to Section 2, the Paleolithic era, or the era of raw survival.
Think about what life was actually like back then. During the Paleolithic era, humans lived a completely 100% natural existence. They were purely hunters. They had absolutely no concept of fire, so yes, they were eating raw meat. Farming, animal husbandry, not even a blip on the radar. The main takeaway here is that Paleolithic humans were pure, hardcore survivalists. They completely lacked the agricultural control over nature that would totally define their descendants in the later Neolithic and Chalcolithic eras.
And, it's actually kind of crazy to think about how recently we started piecing this specific history together. Our modern understanding of this era only kicked off in 1863. That's when a British geologist and archaeologist named Robert Bruce Foote, who's basically the father of Indian prehistory, discovered a hand axe near Chennai. That one single ancient tool essentially blew the doors wide open on India's deep past.
But get this, to show you just how ongoing this whole archaeological detective game really is, we didn't find the very first human fossil in India until 1982. 1982! They found it right in the Narmada Valley region of Madhya Pradesh. Think about that for a second. We've only had physical, fossilized proof of these early humans in this region for just a few decades.
Okay, on to Section 3, the Mesolithic era. Animals and art and a really crucial transition.
So, based on the excavated evidence, a massive game-changing milestone happens right here. The very first evidence of animal domestication in India pops up during the Mesolithic period. Archaeologists found this at sites like Adamgarh in Madhya Pradesh and Bagor in Rajasthan. Suddenly, humans aren't just hunting animals as predators anymore. They're taming them. They're partnering with them. This completely shifts the entire dynamic of human existence.
And the Mesolithic era also gives us this fascinating, deeply humanizing look into early social bonds. Just look at the burial evidence from Uttar Pradesh. At the Damdama site, they uncovered 41 human graves. But astoundingly, this included 5 double burials and even one super rare triple burial. At another site, Sarai Nahar Rai, they found a single grave with 4 skeletons in it. So what does this tell us? It clearly shows these weren't just isolated people surviving alone in the wild. They had complex social structures, emotional attachments, and very specific rituals for their dead.
And alongside those burial rituals, they started expressing their lived experiences through art.
The rock shelters of Bhimbetka in Madhya Pradesh contain some of the earliest traces of human life on the subcontinent. We're talking UNESCO-recognized rock art here. It beautifully captures the vibrant wildlife all around them: elephants, sambar, deer. It shows a human mind that is observing, reflecting, and creating, not just surviving.
Next up, Section 4, the Neolithic period, the agricultural revolution, or the incredible leap from foraging to farming.
If you're wondering exactly when this massive shift went down, recent research gives us a pretty stunning date. Down at the Laharadua site in Uttar Pradesh, the absolute earliest evidence of agriculture and rice cultivation dates all the way back to around 9,000 to 7,000 BC.
Now, what were they actually growing? Well, there are basically 8 original food grains that formed the entire foundation of modern human society. We're talking barley, wheat, maize, millet, sorghum, mustard, oat, and rice. The mind-blowing part is that these plants originally just grew as wild weeds, but humans in the Neolithic age realized they could identify them, gather the seeds, and actively cultivate them. It was a dietary revolution that changed the globe forever. And you can really see how geography shaped these distinct leaps in civilization. If you trace the eras through key archaeological sites, you go from the basic pebble chopper tools in the Paleolithic Sohan River Valley to the stunning Mesolithic rock art of the Bhimbetka caves, all the way to our next topic, the incredibly unique Neolithic site of Burzahom.
So, let's zoom in on Burzahom up in Kashmir for a second. The humans here lived in pit dwellings dug into the earth. But the truly remarkable thing is what archaeologists found in their graves. Human skeletons were found in a sitting position, and get this, they were buried right alongside the bones of their domestic dogs and antlered deer. Discoveries like this highlight a really profound shift in how humans viewed animals. It proves that pets held immense value and emotional weight to these people, even into the afterlife.
But the Neolithic period didn't just bring us farming and pets. It brought the first controlled, purposeful use of fire. And I don't just mean a tiny campfire to keep warm. Down in Karnataka, archaeologists have found these massive, strange ash mounds at sites like Sanganakalu. These mounds are actually the burnt relics of seasonal camps used by early herdsmen. Once you have agriculture and animal domestication, you suddenly need to master fire to manage the land and process materials on a massive scale.
All right, final section, Section 5. The Chalcolithic period, also known as the Copper Age, and the true dawn of metallurgy.
The absolute key fact you need to know here is that copper was the very first metal ever used by humanity, period. The Chalcolithic age gets its name because it sits right on this incredible technological bridge. People were starting to use these brand new, shiny copper instruments, but they were still using their traditional stone tools alongside them. Imagine the sheer technological leap. You're combining thousands of years of perfected stone crafting knowledge with the totally new, moldable, durable power of copper.
And because metal tools allowed for much better farming and construction, we start seeing deeply settled village life, which brought along highly structured domestic rituals. A perfect example is the Jorwe culture in Maharashtra. They clearly believed in life after death because they buried their dead directly under the floors of their own rectangular wattle and daub houses. It's so specific, too. Adults were placed flat on their backs with their heads pointing north, but children? Children were carefully placed inside 2 urns, joined mouth to mouth, and laid horizontally in the pit. It just shows an unbelievable level of societal organization and deep spiritual belief.
And the living spaces themselves? They got a major upgrade. At the extensively excavated site of Navdatoli in Madhya Pradesh, we see evidence of excellent advanced residential structures. By the end of this Chalcolithic era, our ancestors were way past surviving in rock caves or simple pits. They were living in planned, comfortable homes. They had roofs held up by massive wooden posts, walls made of mud-plastered bamboo screens, beautiful lime-coated floors, and even specialized kitchens equipped with multi-mouth cooking stoves, or chulas, and large storage jars.
I mean, going from eating raw meat in the Paleolithic to cooking on multi-mouth stoves in lime-coated houses during the Chalcolithic, the evolution is just staggering. And as we wrap up this explainer, it really leaves us with a provocative question to chew on. Just how rapidly did these early copper tools and complex farming villages snowball into the massive, meticulously planned megacities of the protohistoric world? How exactly did these early, humble settlements pave the way for the mighty Indus Valley civilization? Well, that is a story for another day. Thanks for hanging out and joining me on this incredible journey through the Stone Age.